July is right around the corner. It's hard to believe, and it feels like the year is just ticking by so quickly. And the interesting thing is, have you thought about this? The days are getting shorter. We've passed the summer solstice, and now we're going to start losing more and more daylight every day. But we're also entering the time period where it's the hottest for most of you. We're going to look at the long range today. This first map, we're going to start here. This is where our temperatures have been over the last 7 days. We've been way above average. I don't have to tell you that. Pretty much across a good chunk of the central and eastern United States, especially over the last couple of days for some of you. That clearly is changing, and we're starting to feel that in many areas, but the question is, will it last? Well, let's start with what the upper level pattern looks like as we head through the next couple of weeks. We're going to start with the short range here through the first couple of weeks of July, heading into the middle part of the month. Right now, we've got this huge ridge that's starting to really get broken down even more. I say starting, it's in the process of losing strength here, and we're watching what will be, I think, a monster ridge build across the western United States. Over the next couple of days, you've got this upper low swinging into the west. This right here, guys, I think is going to be a big deal for a lot of the Southwest. We're going to bring in a lot of tropical moisture here with this. You've got the monsoon really in full effect kicking in. All of that heat across the Great Basin in the far Southwest rising, that monsoon. Of course, that air has to be replaced somehow, so you've got that happening, plus some relatively cooler air aloft moving in across the Southwest, so this could lead to some really heavy rain. Further to the northwest, though, underneath this ridge, it's going to get hot across the northern Rockies, and then I think even into the Plain States, we start to feel that heat. Once we get toward Tuesday, though, some cooler air moving back toward the Great Lakes. So now the date is above my head on these maps, so you can track along as we go through this video. And if you're just joining live, you can always back it up and take it from the beginning. If you miss any of these live streams, you can subscribe. I usually keep them up, so there you go. But in this video, we're just looking at the long range. We're not doing a daily forecast. Let's continue to roll this out, though. We're into now the Wednesday, the 2nd, and the 3rd. This is the GFS operational. Okay, so this clearly you could see a big difference in operational run to run, but there's been some pretty consistent data showing that the Southwest really needs to be watched. You can see that from the Climate Prediction Center, too. They're also watching this area July 2nd through the 10th. Talking about that robust monsoonal flow kicking in, so a 70 to 80% chance of above normal precipitation here, especially in Arizona, New Mexico, and then that plume of moisture extending all the way up into Utah as far north as Idaho. All right, let's go back to the GFS operational. We'll push this out in time. This is the 500 millibar chart around the 4th of July. Some cooler weather for the Northeast. We've got a decent ridge starting to build back in across the South. I think it stays hot here. So as we head toward the 4th of July, temperatures, in my mind, look above normal, and it looks like we're going to keep this moisture around into the Southwest with some hot temperatures across the northern plains into the upper Midwest. This is about the extent of the GFS. This is about as far as I want to go with it. Okay, but I'm going to let it roll out in time. It's trying to bring a trough into the Northwest with a decent ridge developing across the southern United States. That could mean some really hot temperatures. Now, this is the GFS precipitable water, percentages above normal. This is where all of the deep moisture is. Clearly a lot of moisture moving through the Great Lakes into the Northeast. It's just been unbearable too, with all of the humidity, with dew points absolutely off the charts. But look what happens. That moisture coming into the Southwest. I'm going to let this play out in time. Look how that monsoon flow kicks in. And now this will have implications, I think, further east later in July, because look where this moisture goes. Ba-boom, right? So it pulls into the west and it moves east. So now, look at this, guys. We're pushing all that moisture from the tropical Pacific north into the Rockies on the monsoon flow. Then it gets caught in the westerlies and it moves east. So not only are we going to be dealing with your typical tropical moisture out of the Gulf, also off the Atlantic across like a lot of the central and eastern United States, but now you're bringing in some Pacific tropical moisture that I think would lead to above average precipitation chances as we head through July. Okay, this is the European, this is brand new, by the way, the European Ensemble Guidance. This is the AI version of that. Brand new, just in the last week or so. So these are the potential for seeing temperatures above average. Orange is above, blue and green, you get the idea, it's below average temperatures. So pretty close to what we were seeing there, though, on the GFS too, right? Getting pretty hot across the Pacific Northwest and the West. As you increase that moisture across the Southwest, you have more cloud cover. You're not going to be baking at 115, so the odds of being below average a little bit higher here. And then also into the Northeast. below average with a little more cloud cover. It looks like we get another hot spell coming around the 4th, 5th, and the 6th from the Great Lakes all the way to the Gulf Coast. And then as we move toward the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, everything starts to flatten out on these ensemble model guidance maps, because as you get further out in time, things really get spread out. This map takes a group of data and it puts it together and smooths things out. But again, the further out you get, the less, I guess, what is that, dramatic of a map you see. It's getting late. If you're watching this video, it's a live stream in the evening here on Thursday, June 26th. Hope you're doing well. Again, if you're watching this, you can take it back from the beginning and check it out. So this is the European ensemble extended outlook for precipitation over the next 30 days anomalies. Again, no surprises here across the southwest. And again, I told you guys that moisture that's going to move east. That monsoon moisture will, I think, affect a lot of the east. I guess as a reflection of that, I think that means temperatures get below average. Now let's talk about the tropics, because we're starting to look here too. This is the European over the next several days. And by the way, there is a chance for some development here, right here along the Mexican coast. If anything, that will likely move into Mexico. So, and it's a pretty low chance, about a 20% chance in the next, well, what are they going here over the next 48 hours, 10% chance. The next 7 days, a 20% chance. So fairly low. But what we've not seen this year is a lot of tropical activity through June. That may change in July. High pressure weakening, though, up here across the Bermuda high anyway, toward the 30th and the 31st. You can see how that shows up. Still a decent easterly fetch here coming off the Atlantic. Do we get something forming here when you look at the upper levels, which I haven't looked at? Let's go ahead and do that here on the live video tonight. So your upper patterns favorable across the Gulf, but back toward the Atlantic, some decent heights here. So you may get enough relaxation in the wind shear to get some development around the 4th and the 5th. But again, that's pretty far out. And again, this is just the operational European model data. All right, so let's go back to the European long range here, and we'll take you through the rest of the month. We're talking about the long range ensembles, also giving the idea that out west we get hot again. In the east, I don't want to say we're in a trough pattern, but I mean, it's July. It's probably going to be hot, but you still have this ridge really building across the west. I think that leads to a strong monsoon flow, and then again, that moisture moving east with this type of flow, once that gets caught up in the westerlies, pushing quite a bit of cloud cover and showers and storms into the east. So July, to me, if I had to guess, I would say maybe a little bit below average in the east, a little more precipitation, hot across the west, especially once you get really here from the Central Plains into the Northern Rockies, down into Texas, and then maybe even to the Pacific Northwest, we'll see rounds of heat and cool weather. That's just my take. And along the Gulf Coast in the south, it's just going to be hot. It's always hot. It's July.